You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome to Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, personal development with a businessman. And of course, I'm waiting for my good friend Joey to show up. I'm trying to speak really quietly because I'm in a lobby in a hotel. It's not quite a lobby, it's more like a breakfast room. But anyway, yeah, Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, personal development with a business plan. And don't forget, we've got the My Way Tribe. And of course, the My Way Tribe is to help people find their why, live with purpose, and grow together. There's a WhatsApp community. The link is in the description. Maybe it's not in the description actually, but it's there on the page. So maybe you might be able to screenshot that and copy that and go and take a look. But of course, this is episode 160. Back to business. I missed a couple of weeks. Last week, I thought, to be honest, I was sitting with my dog. My dog's so old, and I thought the worst. But thankfully, that never happened. But look, it is what it is, and we're back to business now this week. Business as usual, but not as usual, because we want to do things differently, right? We want to do things better. And that's what this is all about. It's about thinking better, doing better. You know, we all want better. I don't know anybody who doesn't. You know, whether it's a better job, better career, better relationships, better finances, better health, you know, whatever that better is for you. Maybe you can find it here. Now, hopefully my good friend Joey Unger will be hopping on. I did say I was going to be 50 minutes late, and I apologise for that because obviously, you know, We're 15 minutes behind schedule right now. No one's fault, only mine. So you can blame me. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Yeah, better timekeeping. That's a good one. Yeah, I like that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Click that notification button. You'll find out when we run, usually around the same time every week. Usually 15 minutes earlier than now. So usually we're going to start around about 10 UK Ireland time. For Joey, it's around about 9 p.m. Joey's in Australia. And of course, you can find Joey here at Joey Unger, facebook.com/Joey.Unger. Go check him out. I think you'll like his content. Really good guy. And of course, he'll be on in a moment. I'm certain of it. And of course, you can find me here. Find me here. Rarely there, although I have been there a little bit more this week and last. You can find me at facebook.com/TheRoyal or on YouTube or wherever it is that you're streaming to right now. YouTube, Facebook. I think we're on a Facebook group, 16-week challenge. 16 weeks for a better you, right? Why not? Okay, so what's back to business? Well, it's really about, trying to get back to doing things and getting better results. And of course, there's my good friend Joey now. Hold on. Let me bring him in. Hey, Joey.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I'm actually in a hotel here at the moment. And I was apologizing. Good to see you, by the way. I've not seen you in a couple of weeks. Obviously, my intention was to get back to business last week. But I was just saying, I was sitting with my dog and I was expecting the worst. And thankfully, that didn't happen. Do you know what I mean? It's just a weird morning, last Sunday morning. And, we'd had a rough weekend with her because she's old. I keep saying she's 16, but she must be 17 now. And she's not a small dog. She's a big dog. And she's definitely lived well beyond her years. And I put that down to, some of the supplements that we have her on, the more Mito Pet Life product. Got it, changed her life, 4 or 5 years ago. But we're still on that journey with her. Do you know what I mean? And, so Kate's at home with her right now, just sitting with her, what are you going to do? But anyway, you've got to get on with it, right? There's no rest for the wicked. So, but again, I was saying that, getting back to business and, one of the things I wanted to talk about with you, and of course you can, introduce yourself, say hi to everybody in a second, is your business and what you're doing and some of the things that, like recently, last time I saw you, you gave an amazing presentation. I want you to talk a little bit about that for sure and let people know where they can find out more about that because it's just an incredible opportunity. So take it away for a moment, Joe. Say hi.
Yeah, Mike, thank you very much. Always a pleasure and a blessing to be with you on every Sunday. I miss our podcast, but it's good. Life can have unexpected event in life, and we have to pause and take some time to, take care of our loved ones, people that are close to us, and to sort out some, technical difficulty with internet and stuff like that. It's happened, and I'm glad that you are able to make it today. Thank you for allowing me to share my story and my journey. And as you said, one of the things that I do now in business is to educate people to understand, what we have, what we do, so that they can make their own decision for themselves. And my story going back to the island, I grew up in a small remote island called the island in Tonga. And all I know was climbing coconut tree. And I remember from my parents, my mom was like nutrition. She always mix up something for us. Some days green, some days red. Liquid fluid remedy, natural remedy from the leaves of the tree or the roots or the bark of the tree. And it's funny, I end up in the world of health and wellness business, And I look back at, it was whatever happened, it was happened for me because, my story back in 2020, I had a major medical uh, event that really, really changed the way I am. And I think whatever happened for me, it was happened for me for a reason, so that I can change, so that I can do something about the most important thing is my health, my health. And I know if I have everything in life, but I don't have my health, what is the use? What is the purpose of accumulate those, uh, wealth in life, but I don't have the health to enjoy them? And that's why, with God help, I was leading and I was introduced to our professional, which is I didn't understand anything about it. I didn't have any business background, but because I was always willing, hungry, approachable, I want to learn more. That's why,
I've got a quick question about that, Joey.
yeah,
So, so you're a now you have you have a job. You're in the army, in the Australian Reserves, engineers, and you're also a professional network marketer, right? So I think we all know what a job is. You know, we could get into what you do in the army, apart from civil defence, things like that. You also volunteer as well, for national disasters and all kinds of different things. But not everybody knows, or maybe some people have a perception of what it is like to be a professional network marketer. And tell us about network marketing and what that is for you personally, because in the beginning, I imagine pretty much outside your comfort zone. 4 years in, you're very familiar with it, and your understanding of what it is. So, what is it?
yeah. Before I say that, I just stand on my camera for the lives. People won't see you, but they will see me interact with you. Thank you for allowing me to share what I understand about. When I 5 years ago, when I decided to look at this profession, I didn't understand anything about it. It's funny, when I first came to Australia, I worked for a job, and one of my job was working in a supermarket at night, stacking shelf. And I remember I had two couple that I was serving that night. They came and they asked me questions. They want to find out. They were looking for some particular product. And one of the things that I look back in my training, it's I'm really good with people. And one of the things when I start that job, they do that. They train you how to become a good customer service. And they said one thing, and I did it really well because I followed what the trainer said. The trainer said, if a customer come and asks you to show her a product or where it is, leave everything you do, stop filling the shelf, and just take the customer. Don't just tell the customer it's in aisle number one, on the shelf number two. Be a good customer service. Do everything you do, and just take the customer, take them to where the product, show them, and just ask them a question. Is there anything that I can help you tonight? And I did that really well, very well. This couple here, he came and asked me about product. So I leave what I did, and I take the customer with me. And I said, I showed them where the product is, and I just stand there and ask them, is there anything that I can help you? Funny, in our professional now, as a professional networker, this is what we train to do. We train to serve people, because as a networker, or network marketing, there is a great product out there produced by great company and needed by the marketplace or needed by the consumer. Our job as a marketer to be the middleman and guide people and show people, hey, if you have any problem, physical problem or financial problem, I can show you a product, I can show you a company I can help you. So, but like I said, I didn't know this couple was already in the professional network marketing. So they told me the story. They told, oh, we are independent working for ourselves. And they pull up their cards and show it to me. One of the things that I'm very good at, and my wife told me I'm a hoarder. Means I collect a lot of things. But you know what? I collect things. I collect good information. I collect people contact. And it's funny now I'm in the profession of networking. I kind of like look back the way I grow up, the way I live. I always service to people. And that part, I didn't know they were in the professional network marketing. When I joined the network marketing, I went back in my phone and I saw the company and I saw the card of those two couples. They didn't tell me there's a network marketing company. They didn't tell me what they do is they sell me service. They just told me they have their own business. They don't like to invest. They don't like to help. And you have a business. So you asked me the question now. You asked me the question 5 years ago. I have no idea how to answer. But now, professional network marketing is a person that being a promoter, being a marketer of a great product or service that produced or manufactured by a great company out there that need by the marketplace or the consumer, whether for their health or whether for their lifestyle or whether for their financial. So those companies, they are solution-based companies. And what we do, we look for that they have problems physically, financially, maybe time problem. Maybe they don't have the lifestyle they want in life. And it's our job to educate them to a point they understand that there's a better way instead of
And there's no doubt, Joey. Like when I think of the term network marketer or professional network marketer, they aren't just really words, but network marketing as an industry, in my opinion, is a real business. It's a real thing, and if you approach it as a real business, not a hobby, not something that you can pick up and put down when you want, because you wouldn't do that with a job. You have to turn up every day in order to get paid, otherwise you're going to get the sack. So it takes a certain level of discipline, perseverance, to get through the challenges of starting a business. Like if you were starting a business from scratch. And the beauty of network marketing is that you can find something that you're interested in, that you're already interested in. And maybe it is health, maybe it is fitness. And you can find a great company with great, solutions for people, that can help them, be able to help other people get to where they want to get to in life, from a fitness point of view, from a financial point of view. But you have to treat it like a business. It's a people business. You're building people. In fact, Linda Proctor describes it as building an organization that product moves through. And you have to become a product of the product. Like if you were setting up a garage, a motor vehicle sales garage, you wouldn't go and hire a car from somewhere else or lease a car from somewhere else. You'd buy it from your own, you'd lease it from your own business. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got to use your own products. Likewise, if you own a convenience store, you don't go to the neighboring store to buy your food groceries. You buy them in your own business and eat them from your own business. So I think with network marketing, you do have to treat it as a real business. It's not a rinky-dink thing. And those people who succeed, they come at it from the point of view of this is a real thing.
Absolutely, Michael. I think
Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, Joe. You can start it part-time, but part-time doesn't mean to say that that it's not important. Do you know what I mean? That it's just a hobby. I think you start part-time in order to replace or to build it to a certain point where you can actually replace, that full-time income maybe that you have, or whatever the way it is to make money.
Yeah. It's funny. I did a 2-day boot camp today in real estate, but it's something about commercial real estate. And they talk about asset. Asset is.
Hold on a second. So just going back, right? So you've got a job. You're in the army. You're also, what would you call it? An entrepreneur in real estate, right? Talk about multiple sources of income, which is what network marketing is all about. And when you come at it, you can come at it from many different angles. Certainly when opening up communications to people, because you have expertise in so many other fields to be able to talk to people about it. But anyway, let's get back to what you were saying.
Yeah. They talk about building an asset. Different type of asset in property real estate. You can be invest in residential or commercial, like business, shop, medical center, retail. And the same thing I see with network marketing. It's an asset. If you build it right, it will become. The only difference, you're building people to build their own organization. You build it properly, you have multiple business all over the world. And it's the same thing that I look at it. Does it happen overnight? No, it will take time, like you said, and because it's professional, you will become an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is the best to make a decision that I will invest, put money on something to build a business, and if there's a risk there, you need time, you need to work. Like with something, other things in life, you need to put on the time, effort to learn the skill, to build a team, to develop people, to become a leader, coach them, teach them how to build their own organization. And what I found with in my experience, Jenny, a lot of people come into this professional, with this business model, with the mindset of employee. I work for 2 days, 2 weeks, and I expect to get paid. I work for a month, expect to get paid. And a lot of people, when they come in, they didn't want to learn the skill, they didn't want to learn about themselves, do the work, and they expect a return of their investment within 2 weeks or 1 month. When they don't get that, they're happy to go back to where they normally programmed to grow up with. Go to school, get a good grade, get a good degree, find a good job, work there for 40 years, 40 hours every day, and when you retire, you only get paid for 40% of what you've been earned throughout the whole career. So, people need to change their mindset so that they can change. This is the truth. For things to change, you have to change. Change your financial situation, to change something, and change something in whether you do something, build a business, get another job. 1, 2, 3 jobs. If you want to improve your financial situation. Same with health.
Yeah, go on, Jerry. Carry on.
Yeah, it's same with my health. Like when I was in hospital, I realized the most important asset that I have is my health, and that's why I decided that I'm gonna look, seek, and knock and find something that not only it allow me to improve the quality of my health, but it improve the quality of my financial situation, because that's one of the things that contribute to a lot of people health problem is they stress out, they depress because they don't have enough money to live from week to week or month to month or year to years. They just grinding.
Yeah, and this is where the personal development element of this really kicks in. Because you have to start working on yourself, right? Nothing, and you said it. For things to change, you have to change, and you can't. What is it? The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect to get a different result. But that's what we all do. We expect to get a different result. This week will be different. Next week will be different. Next year will be different. Do you know what I mean? But we don't change anything. So, and whether it's changing careers and moving from one job to another job, getting a pay rise, being able to afford a better house or a nicer car or whatever else, we sometimes it never works out that way. You can be still in that same job 5 or 6 years from now, not progressing, seeing other people progress, and you're not progressing. And this really comes down to a mindset. There's a reason why these things are happening the way that they're happening. So it's about developing yourself, understanding to communicate with yourself better. Once you learn how to communicate with yourself better, internally, it helps you to be able to communicate with other people better, to be able to meet people at their needs. And it makes you more valuable in the environment that you're in. Like you're really valuable in the environment you're in. I see that. Especially, when you gave that presentation last week, the investment that clearly you've put into yourself to be able to deliver a presentation like that is there for everybody to see. And I hope you're going to tell us when you're going to be doing that again so we can get some more people on there to see it for sure, because it was incredible. But tell us about the personal development side of it. How much time do you spend on personal development every day? And where were you? And look, from a spiritual point of view, you're already highly developed in that sense. Back in 2020, you would spend time working at the church, staying behind at the church, and things like this. And you had to make changes there in your life, for you to be able to move forward, to give yourself more time to do the things that you want to do for not just for yourself, but for your family and for your legacy. So, how does personal development, fit into not just network marketing, but into Joey Makaunga's life?
Thanks, Mike. I grew up in an environment that, background Christian. Church is one of the priorities for everything. It's something that I look now. Faith is always. And when I decided to go through the entrepreneurship and the personal development, I have grown so much in the last 5 years since I started this journey in entrepreneurship. And how many years I was born and in this world. One of the things that I learned that it was taught to me by a great mentor, Tim Rohn, and also Bob Proctor. You always start your mind. Whatever you do, your mind is a very powerful tool for development. And it's like a garden. If you don't guard your mind, the weed will start to creep in and suffocate the good garden in your mind. You don't read a good books, if you listen to a good audio books or attending events to coach you to be better, you will start to drift. And that's one of the things that I noticed before I studied personal development. I was drifting. It's like a boat that drifting, it's have no destination. But when you have personal growth, personal development, you have self-awareness. There's something in you is different. And I think that's the difference between human being and animal. We have something in us that has goal, something that want us to go somewhere. You know, you know where we are, and we want to go somewhere. And that's the thing. We have goals. Animals don't have goals. They just live in the environment where they are. But
Yeah.
as a human being, you can see the people that have goals in life, they know where they're going. The people who
This is
don't
where,
have goals,
this is where it starts getting complicated, Joey, right? And it does get complicated here because we set limitations on ourselves. We do. I don't care who you are, we all do. You know. Now we all dream, and we do. We dream. Like if I said to you, like if you won the lottery tomorrow and you won 10 million, pounds, how would it change your life? Or $10 million, how would it change your life? You'd be able to start dreaming and visualizing and seeing and all this kind of stuff. You'd be able to start seeing it. But the thing about where we're going with this is that you have to feel like you've won that 10 million pounds every morning, even though you don't have it. And in the video that we'll play at the end, it talks about acting, walking, talking like you're already there. But it's more than that. It's not just about dressing up like that, and it's actually a belief. It's actually when you talk about the weeds growing in your mind, this happens in every moment during our day. Like my wife Kate, she does it, and it's not intentional. It's habitual. She goes like, don't get me wrong, we've got plenty of money. We're not short of money. But when we go to buy, if she goes into a shop because she wants to buy a new coat or something like this, immediately she thinks, oh, do I really need it? Do you know what I mean? Like, do I really need it? Like, oh God, it's 200 quid. It's a lot of money. And that's a weed, Joey. That thought is a weed. Because it should be, that's 200 quid. Well, that's no problem to me, because money comes to me, money flows to me easily. That'll very quickly be replaced, And so you've got to manage every bit of those, every weed all of the time. You have to stop it. You literally have to take a moment and say, hold on a second, I can afford that. My world is abundance. Things come to me. I'm so lucky, money just flows to me. And you have to, and there has to be a certain confidence, and you could even call it an arrogance, Joey. That nothing can beat me. Like it's mine. When we first started building our business and we turned to franchising, every time I sat down with a franchisee, who'd have to spend 20 grand to join and everything else, they would say, how many people have you got? How many people have started franchising with you? And I'd say, well, we've got a few people on a wait list, but in my mind, it's already done. And that was my attitude. In my mind, it's already done. And I would take it away from people, and I would say, look, this might, I say to everybody else, even potential customers that come to us, I always say to them, I said, look, I think we're the right thing for you. We just might not be the right thing right now. And they go, oh no, you are, because they want it, and that's one of the things, when we bring it back around to, to network marketing, which is a real business, a real thing, just like any other business, which involves sales. And if you think that you don't do sales, you do, everybody does, we're always selling something, whether you're working in a shop, to get that job, you had to sell yourself. You had to go to an interview, sell yourself. You don't like sales. Well, maybe you should start liking sales. Maybe your life will turn out a little bit better if you started liking sales and you started selling yourself in a better situation. But, I tell people that, that we don't sell, pet care services. We sell feelings. That's what we do. We sell feelings. It's my job to help that person feel better about something that makes them feel bad. That's all I focus on in what I do. But you said it. Someone has to want to change. They have to want to get better. They have to want better. Like if I'm talking to someone in a store or something like that, and they turn around and they say, "Hey, what is it that you do? I always say, well, look, we help pet owners feel better about something that makes them feel better. And if they're a pet owner, they're like, I want to feel like that. I want to feel like that. Well, like, how do you do that? I want to help a pet owner feel like the best pet owner in the world. How do you do that? I want to do that. I want that. So, it's communication is so important in everything that we do. We're always selling something. Even if you're making new friends, you're selling yourself. And that's what business is. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're in the army. I don't care if you're in commercial real estate or just real estate. I don't care if you're just in your job. It's building relationships with people. Creating relationships. People don't buy. People buy from people that they like, and you have to make yourself likable. And the first thing to do in that is fixing yourself. Like, if you don't like yourself, why would anybody else like you? If you don't have any confidence, or if you don't have any enthusiasm or energy about what you're doing, why would anybody buy anything from you? They wouldn't. Like, if you're trying to sell me an apartment, you're like, it's all right, it's not bad. It's a little bit small, but it's okay for you. I'd be like, I don't want that. I want you to build a picture or build a dream for me, and so I can see myself in there. So I can see myself going to the local bars and restaurants, or maybe getting down to the beach at weekends and things like this. I want to be sold a dream. I want to be sold a vision. Like, if I'm going into buy a car, I want that person to sell me the car of my dreams at the price that I can afford. Right? That's what I want. It might, but that might be a stepping stone car, But you have to be genuine as well. You have to say, well, look, maybe this isn't right for you. Do you know what I mean? I don't think this car is right for you, but it's not right for you right now. Maybe you should be over here looking at this. Do you know what I mean? And you can step stone up to that. How are you going to get from here to here? Like, how are you going to get from there to there? Network marketing is a way to be able to do that, for sure. Like, I was thinking, so my car, I've got a car at the moment. I bought it 3 years old, paid 15 grand for it. We bought it for cash, 18 grand, sorry. We bought it for cash. And I said, had about 145,000 kilometers, which is, are you in miles or kilometers there, Joey?
Say it again.
Are you in miles or kilometers there?
Kilometers.
Yeah, it had about 145,000 kilometers on it when I bought it, and it's just coming up to 300,000. And I've only had it for 2 years. I've done a lot of mileage in it. And I said to Kate, I said, I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell it when it gets to 300,000. I'm going to sell it. So it's getting close now, and I'm thinking, what am I going to buy? And I'm looking around, and I'm thinking, yeah, I could have that. I could buy that. I could buy new. Do you want to buy? Shall I buy a truck? And then this brings us back to the weeds, Joey, right? So I'm looking at cars, and I'm thinking, I could buy that, no problem. Yeah, but and then this little weed comes into my mind and says, yeah, but it's going to cost you an extra, 20 euros a day in fuel, or 20 euros, 25 euros a week in fuel. That's a weed. I can afford that. That's a weed trying to put me off it. That's me putting myself off what I want. You had a great example of this the other week, Joey, where your wife was saying about, going to one of the islands or something like this. And you immediately said, right, let's just go online and book it. And you just went online and booked it. That's abundance. That's abundance thinking. That's not allowing the weeds in. And that's the difference. Yeah. And that's where you can really see your growth. And it's impressive. But anyway, back to network marketing. Why should people get involved in? And we're not talking about necessarily your business. We're talking about as an industry. Why should they find something that they love, and start sharing it? Yeah.
Look, like what I learned this weekend too from commercial property investing. It's not for everyone, everyone's different, but it's a great professional if you want to learn about yourself, learn about how to grow yourself, so that you have the awareness that you have a potential within you to make an impact, make a positive impact in other people's life. And that's why I love it. In real estate, you buy a house, you maybe you build it brand new or renovate it, and you put a family there, and you make an impact on that family life. You help that
Absolutely.
person yourself. But if you help someone build an organization in our profession, and not only that he impact with for him, but the organization. But not only the organization, but the people that impact in that team. That's why I love that idea. And this is one of the professions that ordinary people, average people, whether you are a truck driver, whether you work in the army, whether you're a police officer, whether you're a school teacher, homestay mom, will be able to create a legacy for themselves down on the track. Or, put in a simple term, they can become an entrepreneur and be their own boss and build their own home-based business. And it's funny when we talk
Yes.
about selling. We talk about selling in the army. In the army, a lot of time, a lot of people they buy their stuff outside of the army and they bring it in, a sleeping bag or a water bottle. And you hear this conversation. Hey, where did you get your water bottle from? Where do you get your sleeping bag from? And the other person said, "Oh, I got it from Amazon. I got it from the camp shop, camping." Um, in myself, I said, "Wow, we're selling things every single day." But the only said with it, we refer people to where we buy stuff from, or we sell something to people, but we don't reward for it. And that's the
Yeah.
difference between network marketing and just referring people or selling things to people every or movie or restaurant. You don't compensate for it. You don't get a reward for it. So
Yeah.
in our profession, you refer a good service to someone, whether it's electricity, phone company, or a product, whether it's health and wellness, skincare, household product. If you are in the profession, if you build a business around it, with that referral, you get a reward financially or
Yeah.
commission because you refer that good service, that good product or quality product to people. And that's the concept. I love the concept. Simple, you know, you just refer people to take a look at something that you find, or a product or service. And if people want to take that product so that make them feel good, make them look good, make them more healthy, or and an extra income, great. The company you work your partnership with, they will reward you for doing that kind of service.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. I share this with one person asked me, Joey, so you start this organization, and if someone come under you, you still earn more than that person. And I said, this is what I love sharing this because
Yeah.
if I start this business and I sponsor you, Mike, as to come as my guest, and I bring contact with Mike, and I don't do building the business as Mike, and you go and see the vision and you build it bigger than I do, you earn more than I do. Even though I've been 4 years now with the business, you just came in today. Tomorrow
Yeah.
you start building your business around the world, you will earn more than I do. Here's the
Yes.
thing: it's a fair compensation to each and every.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really important thing, isn't it? That it's you can't get rich off the back of somebody else. Whereas traditional business is structured that way. You've got the guy at the top. He makes most of the money. The company makes all of the profits, and the people just work there. They just get a wage, you know, and that's the way that's structured. Is it a bad structure? No, you know, because people are happy to do it. You know, it gives them enough to get by, gives them a job, just over broke, a job, you know, which is fine. You know, not everybody, you know, wants to do something, you know, more, but for those that do, there are opportunities out there, and network marketing is definitely one of them. You know, like even in our business, you know, we have reimagined, you know, like we were obviously, you know, we have a pet care company, you know, Ireland's largest, most recommended, most trusted, you know, been around for about a decade and a half. We've delivered well over 500,000 services to thousands and thousands of customers all over Ireland. And in fact, we're probably Europe's largest independently owned pet care company. But we were doing franchising for a while, you know, pre-COVID. We'd set up several franchising. Franchising is great from a company point of view. From a corporate point of view, Joey, it's you know, it's great. You know, someone has to pay, you know, maybe 20 grand to buy a territory. That territory is limited, right? They can't go outside of it to work. They have to stay in that territory. Then they have to pay royalty fees back to the company. So every time they earn some money, 10% of that goes back to the company as a royalty fee back to the company. They also have to pay administration fees every month, right? They also have to buy marketing, tools from the company. Everything is designed to support the company and be returned to the company. So even though that you can start a franchise, nothing wrong with franchising, Joey, lots of people do it. You're buying a proven business model, you get all of the tools to be able to build it, and that company give you milestones to hit. And if you don't, you get penalized, right? So that's a big investment up front. You're not investing in the company, you're investing in yourself, right? So you're committed. These, you know, we reimagined, you know, because obviously since COVID, you know, we've been looking. In fact, to be honest, this is my favorite thing here. You know, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. You know, Buckminster Fuller quote. And, you know, through just looking at that quote, studying what we've done in the past and what we can do differently, we reimagined franchising, right? And we've created a model which takes away a lot of the barriers to someone getting involved. And this is where network marketing works, because it does the same thing, right? So rather than having a 20 grand, you know, buy-in fee, we've got a really low buy-in fee, right? A really low fee to get involved. You know, whereas you have a territory that you operate in, now we have a license that allows that person to operate within the country the license was issued. So now they don't have a limit. They can work anywhere in the country, you know, that the license is issued, as opposed to just a little territory, you know. And we've removed the royalty fees, so they don't have to pay royalty fees back to the company. We've removed the administration fees, so they don't have to pay administration fees back to the company. And what that means is that they get to keep every penny that they earn, you know. And so we've completely changed it. Some of that is very similar to the network marketing model, because the network marketing model has got a low barrier entry. Doesn't cost a lot to get involved, right? Do you get to keep every penny? You get to keep every penny of the profit. Yeah, you do. There's still a cost to the manufacturing of the product and everything else that's being moved on. So, but you get to keep every penny. You get to keep every penny of the profits. If you're selling products, you get to keep every penny of the profits. That works in network marketing. That's the way it's done, you know. And is there training? Yes, there is. And that training is free. Is there guidance? Yeah, it's free. Do you get a website? Yeah, it's free. It all comes as part of that package, that initial buy-in, you know. Do you have to use the products yourself? No, not all the time. But will that limit you to qualifying for additional bonuses? Absolutely. Joey, I could join a network marketing company tomorrow. I could buy £1,000 worth of products, and I could sell those products for a retail price, and I get to keep all that money. I don't have to use the products. I don't have to buy them for myself. Don't have to do anything like that. But then, you know, and I'm making all of the profits, right? Or what I could do is I could just buy, you know, products that I use for myself that will qualify me for making performance bonuses by introducing other people to the products and getting them set up on the system with a monthly order that they just get, you know. So there's two things to network marketing. One is customers, and one is the network, building an organization. And I think customers are really important. I think you've got to have customers in any business. If you don't have customers, well, who are you serving? You've got to have customers. And one of the things about the network marketing industry is that they do teach you how to get customers, how to talk to customers, how to solve problems, how to identify problems, So, if you're out there thinking, I think I want to do something like this, but I don't know how to do it, doing the what to do and the how to do is the easy part. We can teach you that. What's more important is your reason why you want to do it, and sometimes that why is, I just don't like the shit that I'm in, I want to get out of that,
Yeah.
Look at the shit that you were in. But that's what it was for you, Joey. When you think about it, you were lying in your hospital bed thinking, this is not what I want.
So true. And that's the light bulb moment, that's the things that flip the switch. Our mind is like a button. It's also like a switch. You can turn it on or turn it off. And that's the realization I said, for things to change, I have to change. And when I said I have to change, I didn't have to get my wife to change or my kids to change or my mom to change. First, I have to change myself. And that's why every single day I work on myself. First thing, I wake up in the morning, where I say my prayer, give my gratitude to God, and then I will read a book or listen to an audio while I was getting ready, doing my morning routine to go to gym, go to work and stuff like that. Always feed my mind with the right information. I quit listening, watching TV, watching news, those things that add value. So one of the things that I do now, I turn my car into an investment. I put on an audio podcast. I put on the audio books, some programs that I invest in it, and it keeps feeding my mind, repeatedly, because repetition is the mother of learning. You remember the song lyric by listening to it one more time, and we learn a lot. And I think you and I testimony of how this professional have changed us. And before I used to shy sharing what I do with people, and sometimes I share what I do with people, and people start to kind of look funny at me. And this is what as long you can endure the social peers of people look at you in a funny way, think of you in a funny way, because they don't see what you see. They don't see.
But Joey, that doesn't last forever. That doesn't last forever. Do you know when you're in the beginning, everybody thinks you're crazy. You've gone nuts. You're having a nervous breakdown, whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's going on? But there's no doubt there comes a moment when people look at you and go, do you know what? This guy is serious. This guy's serious about this. He's not joking. He's not playing around anymore. Because, when you think back to 2020, and 6 months goes by, you get started in network marketing, you're a little bit green, nervous talking about it. 5 years later, boom, you're this blossoming flower, all this confidence, radiating light, talking to people, sharing, and people just, they don't look at you like that. They don't look at you like that young, immature kid anymore. You're this developed, confident person that knows what the hell he's talking about and knows where he's going. And the truth is, Joey, if anybody was sitting on the fence, the only thing that they would need to do is grab onto your coattails, because you're going places. If all they did was say, do you know what, this guy's going somewhere, I'm gonna go along with him just for the ride to see what happens. All that's going to happen is their life's going to get better, because as your life gets better, other people's lives are, other people who you're associated with their lives are going to get better in exchange. They can't not get better. Because if you're mixing with better people, well, then your life can only get better.
Yep.
Because it comes down to attitude. If you're hanging around with, bums, as Bob Proctor would say, you're going to become a bum. You might be the best bum, out of the group, but you're still going to be a bum. You have to, get around the right people. And you're one of the right people. You've got the right attitude. You've got a vision. You know what it is that you're trying to do. You know what it is that you want. You know how you want to live. So if someone wanted, what you've got, the best thing they could do is hang around with you. If they wanted to know about how to get involved in real estate, buying properties or, building properties like you are with your son, buying apartment blocks and things like this, they'd really want to come and have a conversation with you. If someone's recently had a heart attack or knows someone who's had a heart attack and wound up in hospital and they've got to make decisions in their life and make different, lifestyle changes and choices, they'd really want to come and have a conversation with you. If someone's kind of broke and got 3 jobs, and really doesn't know how they're going to get out of it, they'd really want to come and have a conversation with you, Joey. Because you can teach them all of those things. Like, if someone's thinking about joining the army, right, they really want to come and have a conversation with you. Like I saw you on telly in the army. How does that even happen? How do you end up on telly? Out of all the people in the army, they could choose to be on the telly, and they choose you. That's attitude. It can only be attitude. Did you get your promotion yet?
It's coming. Since I on the journey, I changed a lot. People might be not know this or they already know this, but the main thing for me is to change in the way I think, the way I serve people. And it's funny, funny story. I joined the professional and I decided to challenge myself. It's one of the things that you will learn in our profession. As an entrepreneur, you will learn to challenge yourself. And you learn to understand that challenge and adversity is only temporary. And it's only a state of succeed. If you will never give up, if you just insist and keep going and keep doing what you want to do in life. Have a purpose. Have a purpose. If you want to live a fulfilled life, you need to have goals. You need to have, like Bob talk about the video that we listen, and you need to have guts, to have courage to do it. Our professional is a solution-based professional. That's why every time I reach out to someone, whether in the army or talk to someone, I reach out because I hear something from the conversation that every day you look left and right, people talk about that problem. And this is how I know, there's the world that we live in. We live in the world of problems because the language that people use. I said I can't afford to do this. I can't, I don't know where to go. I hate my job. And when you start the conversation, my intention is to show that person, what I found, and hopefully he or she will open to educate to a point they will understand. I think Jimmy Smith, one of the legend, professional in our company, said, this is what I said to my contact or the people, my friends. I can help you if you let me, and I can help you if you want to help yourself. So in our professional, we can't help everyone. We can't carry everyone. We can carry one person, but try carry 2 person or 3 person in your back. You can't. All what we do is to educate people to a point they understand our vision, our mission, our purpose in life is to help other people succeed in life. And Zigzag Love, if we can wrap up this, and this is maybe the final thought. If you help enough people get what they want in life, remember, not all the people, enough people. If you help enough people, get what they want in life, you also get what they want. For example, if you help someone to know how to pay their bills with the vehicle that we have, you can pay your bill. If you help someone, to improve the quality of their health, physical health, with the product that we have, you can improve the quality of your health. So, if someone listen to this, they can take away something from our conversation. If you can help enough people succeed or get what they want in life, you also, there's a law. It's a law that whatever you give out, you will absolutely get it back.
So so Joey, amazing what you just said, right? And you're absolutely right. When people say, and they're complaining, they're moaning about work. Do you know what I mean? They're just complaining and moaning about how they hate their job. And you say, well, why don't you change it? And they're like, oh, well, I can't do that. Right? Where will I get my money from? Do you know what I mean? They just love moaning about it, but they don't want to change it. Now, you went on to say about, helping, enough people. Now, if somebody out there, wanted to earn an extra $2,000 a month, you could teach them how to do that, right? Now, if you were to help 6 people earn $2,000 a month, you'd be earning $10,000 a month by helping 6 people earn $2,000 a month. And if you were to help 6 people earn $10,000 a month, you'd be earning $100,000 a month. So you just need to find 6 people who want to earn $2,000 a month and teach them to help 6 people earn $2,000 a month, and help them to teach 2,000 people to earn $2,000 a month. By building an organization where people are using the products and have half a dozen customers that they're selling product to. It's not that complicated. It is not that complicated at all. It's so simple. It's a very simple business, isn't it? But it gets complicated all by itself because, we make it complicated. A good friend of ours, Megan McCurdy, she would often say, easy to do, easy not to do. And this is where the personal development really does have to be like an anchor for you. Do you know what I mean? You have to use personal development to build, the discipline, because discipline is probably the most important character trait that you're going to need to do anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care whether it's network marketing, whether it's starting your own traditional type business. It's discipline. Like if you've got a traditional business, you still got to get up in the morning and go and open that door. If you're in network marketing, you still got to get up in the morning and open that door. It's a real thing. Joey, I appreciate you today for sure, and apologize for the last couple of weeks. I don't know why. I can't remember why. I know about last week. What was the week before? And what was the week before that? I've just got no idea.
Power line.
Still not done. Still not fixed. Yeah, still not fixed. Like they have to come and put up a new pole and everything else. Do you know what I mean? It's still not done. So we had to get, mobile broadband down at the office. So we thought it was going to be fixed over in 5 days, and we're like 3 weeks later. Do you know what I mean? Still not done. So anyway, it doesn't really matter. But look, we're going to play out with that video. And this video is just, I have been doing a lot of personal development over the last couple of weeks. And I'm starting to understand me a lot more. I'm starting to understand the principles and the frequencies. And when Bob in this video talks about, all you have to do is flip your mind onto that frequency, and your mind flips onto that frequency. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. We talked about, how it could very easily get triggered to be angry, but I found it very hard how to be triggered to move up the frequencies. And then I heard something this week and you mentioned it again today, is where you have to be that conscious awareness of feeling in the moment. You have to be in the moment, and you have to stop yourself, catch yourself on, cop yourself on, and say, no, I can do this. I can have this. I have this. This is mine. It's mine to have, and I can have more. And that flips you onto that frequency that you deserve it. That abundance is there for you, and that's what personal development teaches you. But you have to immerse yourself in it. You can't just dip your toe in it. Just like network marketing, you can't just dip your toe in network marketing. You can't just dip your toe in personal development. You have to immerse yourself in it. You have to jump in, feet first, head first, whatever way, and then you need to find a mentor that's going to teach you how to swim in that pool. And you're a mentor, Joe. You're someone who teaches someone how to swim in that pool of network marketing, of commercial and residential real estate, of personal development. That's you. And if someone's watching now, on your Facebook page and they can hear me, reach out to Joey. If you want to get in that pool, reach out to Joey and ask Joey to teach you how to swim, because he can teach you. And he's self-taught. He taught himself, right? So listen, we'll play out with that video, Joe. And great to see you. And I'll see you again next week. And don't forget, let me know when you're doing that presentation again. Are you doing one next week?
Yeah, we'll keep in touch, and I'll let you know. Well, definitely we can work something out. We always come up with new things. Mike, can I, before you play that music, that last video, I just want to say thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. You are one of a kind. You're a special person, amazing. You always plant the seed of faith in me. And Mike is my good friend from Ireland. Entrepreneur, build a massive big business in the pet industry, very successful.
And we're coming to Australia as well. We're coming to Australia with this business. I'm telling you.
Amazing.
You'll be able to buy a license in Australia to be able to do what we do, and we'll teach you how to do it. It's going to be incredible.
And I just want to, shout out to the few people that be on the live tonight. There.
How are you? Good. This is my friend Joanne. Hi, Joanne. Nice to meet you. Hi there. How are you?
Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had value in some way. So, Mike, take away. Thank you very much, and I really appreciate you, my friend.
Good night. God bless, Joey.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. Now we say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
Yep, you can see it.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. Now we say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
Yep, you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, You flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.